5, we got a big game for you tonight. Number 2 UConn, number 10 Marquette, at the sold-out Bradley Center here in Milwaukee. This game will go a long way towards determining the regular season champion of the Big East. Marquette can move ahead of the Huskies and into a tie with Louisville with a win here at home tonight. Hi, everybody. Dan Shulman and a fired-up Dick Vitale for this big game tonight. On top of all that, Jim Calhoun goes for career win number 800 tonight. On top of all that, number 1 Pittsburgh lost last night. Adds a little bit more to this game here tonight. There's a lot going on.
Well, a lot going on. I think you also got to look at the fact that you got Marquette, who's won 17 in a row at home, now taking on the challenge of playing Connecticut. I think the theme comes down to very simple. Great perimeter play for Marquette, great inside play for Connecticut.
One of the toughest jobs was picking just 2 guys for our Star Watch tonight, 1 from each team. Who do you have?
Well, you got to go with Mr. Tabit. He's worth 20 points. I've said it once, say it again before the game starts. McNeil's been Mr. Versatility. He's a driver. He can attack the basket, and he's improved his perimeter shot. He made 7 for 7 from the 3 against Cincinnati.
Time now to check the starting lineups. We begin with the UConn. Remember, Jerome Dyson is out for the year after knee surgery. Craig Austria, a senior who has started a lot in his career, has moved into the starting lineup of the backcourt along with A.J. Price. And Thabit is joined up front by Stanley Robinson and Jeff Adrian, having another terrific season for the Huskies. For Marquette, it is arguably the best backcourt in America. James McNeil and Matthews, all of them seniors. And up front, the very underrated and underappreciated Lazar Hayward, along with Dwight Burke.
I'll tell you, he could be a key player today. Hayward, as you look at Mr. Calhoun going down for number 800, as you said earlier. Does that put him in select company?
And Buzz Williams in his first year as head coach here at Marquette, an assistant to Tom Crean a year ago. Prior to that, the head coach for 1 season at the University of New Orleans. Got his start at Navarro Junior College about 16 years ago.
He only needs 773 more wins to get to 800.
Curtis Shaw, Bob Donato, and Ray Perrone better be ready to run up and down the court. These are 2 high-octane teams who can really put the ball in the basket. And Marquette breaking out the gold jerseys. This is one of their special occasion jerseys, and this is a special occasion here tonight.
Well, you know, 2 years ago, they won their first Big East game here against Connecticut. Beat them when Novak went for 41 points, 16 rebounds.
Jarrell McNeil and Dominic James both played in that game. Matthews was hurt, had a foot injury, wave off the basket, and a travel call on Hayward. Buzz Williams inheriting the team of Tom Crean, of course, and has given them maybe a little bit more freedom, seems to be the consensus, a little bit less structure in the offense.
Yeah, he's given a little more flexibility, he said. Will allow them to be a little bit more free offensively.
Told us that he and Tom Crean playing phone tag all day today. Still good friends, talk all the time as A.J. Price gets to the rim.
Well, A.J. Price attacks the basket. He can do that because when you look at Marquette, they don't block shots. Think about this. Tabit has 32 more block shots than the entire Marquette team.
Wide open is Hayward. He can shoot it from out there. In and out of the rebound to Robinson. By the way, we talked about Tom Crean with Buzz Williams. Tom Crean's going to really get it going in Indiana. I don't know if friends like to play each other. Wouldn't it be great if Indiana and Marquette got a series going?
That would really be super. I'll tell you one thing. No doubt Tom Crean in 3 years will have Indiana as one of the leading teams in the Big Ten.
Lob inside and the easy finish for Stanley Robinson.
See, Stanley Robinson, that's what they want him to do. Utilize his athletic ability. Really cannot shoot from the perimeter, and they really don't want him to do that. They want him to show his strength.
Averaging, Dick, barely 5 points a game. Averaged better than 10 last year and is capable of much more even than that. Matthews, what an improved player he is this year. Better than 18 a game. The fadeaway a little bit short, and Thabit with the rebound.
Well, the one thing Connecticut's doing really early, getting a little lead, quiet the crowd down.
The students were lined up around the block hours before the game. The game sold out in a heartbeat. This is a big city. This is a pro arena, but they've got a great atmosphere in here for big games. Let's go to the third member of our crew tonight, Alan Hopkins.
Thanks. Good evening to you, Dan and Dick. Well, Coach Buzz Williams has stepped out of the shadows in the Big East directly into the spotlight thanks to Marquette's best start since the 77-78 season. The one thing that he told me early when I asked him what he has learned the most, he said he's learned the value of each possession, something that he teaches and preaches in practice each day. But one thing that's very clear, Dick and Dan, that all great coaches know that practice practice makes permanent, not perfect.
I'll tell you, that's right. There's no question. You really get it done on a practice level. Buzz is really a guy that's worked so hard to get to the level where he's at. He never worked under what you call a pedigree guy who had a great reputation, would open up the doors. He's had to write letters, go to clinics, beg, plead, do everything to get a chance.
His real name, by the way, is Brent, but I'm told only his mom and his wife call him Brent. Everybody else calls him Buzz. A.J. Price, a Cousy Award finalist, is one of the top point guards in the country with a 3.
Tell you one thing, he better call upon his team to start playing some defense. Price is getting a great start. Attacking the basket, making the perimeter shot.
Dominic James with the elbow jumper, no, and another rebound for Thabit. Marquette, as you know, an undersized team. Very talented, very quick, but giving up a ton of size to UConn, one of the biggest front courts in college basketball.
That's why you got the contrasting style. Perimeter play against inside play. You better make these threes.
Dominic James knocks it down.
And he's not a good three-point shooter. In fact, he's really a liability late in the game on the free throw line, under 50%.
Thabit inside and a foul. That was Jarrell McNeil getting up there and attempting to block the shot.
You know, McNeil in that victory when they beat Connecticut, their first Big East game, he had 19 points and 12 rebounds as a diaper dandy.
And we've got 2 legitimate Big East Player of the Year candidates in this game, and Hasheem Thabit and Jarrell McNeil. You could also mention DeJuan Blair, of course.
Herringody.
Herringody still leading in scoring and rebounding, but the Irish are down. Here comes Jimmy Butler into the game. Lazar Hayward is going to go out for Marquette. Another thing, and it applies to both of these teams, but maybe a little bit more of the Golden Eagles. Not a lot of depth. They don't get much at all off their bench.
80-some% of their points come from their starters.
So Hayward out probably briefly. A look at the resume for Marquette this year. First season as head coach for Buzz Williams. They have not lost here at home, and they are the highest scoring team in the Big East. Another rebound for Thabit, who at his size could have a big night on the glass.
You know, Dan, they're the highest scoring team offensively and defensively. Connecticut is certainly the best team in the Big East. Giving up only 60 points a game.
Got a team on Adrian. You could almost throw Adrian's name in there as a Big East Player of the Year candidate. That's how good a season he's had. Robinson working hard and drawing the foul on Jimmy Butler.
You know, think about if you had to pick an all Big East team, you're talking about a star-loaded team.
Yeah.
How would you go with Thabit, Blair, and Herringody? I think they're locks. I think they're locks.
Yeah.
Then you jump on the perimeter, you got to go with McNeil, and then who would you go number 5? I'd probably go with T. Williams down in Louisville. I mean, that's a pretty good 5.
And because of the number of teams in the Big East, the conference in the last few years, Dick, has expanded their first team. I think they actually pick a Player of the Year and then 10 other players to be on the first team simply because there are 16 teams. Here comes Hayward back into the game.
So I don't like that. I think that's being political. I don't think that's being legit. You pick 5 players, first team, in terms of all conference. I don't like that.
9-5 UConn early. Hayward back in. Dominic James to the bench for Marquette. And Robinson knocks him down. He missed the first 8 games of the season. A personal leave of absence, has returned, has become a starter, but has shown only flashes of his ability so far this year.
You know, Connecticut always has a chance to win because they're always going to defend really well. They may have bad nights shooting the basketball, but they're going to be usually constant on the defensive side.
Butler driving on Price, forced it up, got it back. Shot clock did not reset. Hayward for 3. In and out. Another rebound for Thabit.
Hayward trying to take Adrian away from the basket, play it out on the perimeter using his shooting ability.
Adrian, good position inside. Jump hook. Rebound to Wesley Matthews. Matthews is 4th in the Big East in scoring. McNeil, his teammate, is 3rd, and Hayward is not far behind. Matthews right into the chest of the shot blocker. That is one of the tactics Marquette is going to try to use to get the lead in trouble tonight. Here's a tactic UConn will use. Up over the top for the slam. Dan Shulman, Nick Vitale, Alan Hopkins. Connecticut up by 5 on Marquette, but an early foul on Hasheem Thabit. When you're dealing with a shot blocker like Thabit, some teams try to avoid him, and some teams go right into his chest. Marquette is going to use their penetration and their toughness to try to get right into the chest of Thabit, and that is foul number 1 on the big guy.
Well, they can do that because they got the kind of drivers and slashers when you have McNeil, James, and certainly Matthews to attack him. And remember, the one game that he got in foul trouble, played 23 minutes. They got beat by Pittsburgh. Hey, talk about big men on campus, Dan. How are these guys? Would you like to have those guys to coach? Think about Blair, Blake Griffin. We wish him the best. Hansbrough, Harangody, to beat. Not a bad five. I see you smiling with those five.
Griffin didn't play a couple of nights ago with a loss to Kansas. Still out indefinitely, it seems, with post-concussion syndrome, and we wish him the best, that he gets back feeling good and back to action before long. Fabit will sit down early. Jim Calhoun doesn't want to risk him picking up the second this early. So Marquette, again, their greatest skill offensively is driving, is penetrating. We'll see how they go at the rim right now with Fabit on the bench.
Well, you would think that would be negated with Fabit, but certainly with him on the sideline right now, they got to attack. You look at Buzz Williams. You know, you mentioned Oklahoma and Blake Griffin. I hope the committee really analyzes and takes a look at the fact in those two losses that Griffin really wasn't on the floor.
It's a fascinating question to ponder come Selection Sunday, how that will affect their seeding, whether they are still a lock for a number one, whether their body of work up until this point guarantees them one, or whether they need some more wins and a healthy Griffin back. So Fabit out for the moment for UConn. Stanley Robinson, look at the athleticism and the upside, and you can see why he's such a tantalizing talent for the UConn coaching staff.
Yeah, really has not played up to his potential, as you said earlier. But right here, he's becoming very aggressive, and he's doing what he can do best, attack the basket.
6 early points for Robinson. McNeil operating at the point right now with James on the bench for Marquette. Jarrell McNeil getting better and better in conference games. He's over 22 points per game. He's also up there in assists and steals. A tremendous all-round player as Hayward is called for the foul.
You know, he really likes the big stage. He likes to perform at the big moment against big clubs. He responds. He had 7 for 7 from the trifecta against Cincinnati.
In conference games, Dick, he's first in the league in three-point percentage. He is second in the league in steals. He is third in the league in scoring, and he is fourth in the league in assists. You can make a case. This is your Big East Conference Player of the Year. And again, DeJuan Blair, you got to throw him right in there. And how about a week from tonight? You and I will be sitting courtside in Pittsburgh, Marquette and Pitt. What a game that's going to be.
I'll tell you, I can't wait to get through the opening soon. You think about Marquette, their next 3 games, they have this game Saturday at Louisville, and then they go to Pittsburgh.
Beat Georgetown, and then their last game is against Syracuse. Murderers Row at the end of the regular season for the Golden Eagles.
What has happened to Georgetown?
Maurice Acker, number 2, is checked in now at the point for the Golden Eagles. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Kemba Walker at the point right now for UConn, a very talented freshman. Nice pass. Edwards the slam. Stanley Robinson the feed.
I tell you, Robinson's been the star early. Good angle, good entry.
Matthews all the way.
Smart play. Attack the basket. To beat on the sideline. Keep attacking, attacking, attacking. We're going to watch Robinson with the jam. There he is with a tremendous explosive step to the goal. Now we're going to watch the great pass. His size made him make that pass. He had great vision. Looked right over the defensive player. But when I see those Marquette uniforms, I think of one name. Al McGuire. Al McGuire. Do we have the stories rolling today at Buzz's office?
You had some good stories going about Al McGuire. Dick's team at the University of Detroit defeated Marquette here in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah, we beat him here by 1. Got a little bit lucky at the end. I didn't call a timeout and screw anything up. And the kids shot it, and we beat them by 1. They're a great team that won the
year they
national
won it all.
championship. Yeah, we had won 21 in a row.
And the Marquette players honoring the memory of Al McGuire. When we get a close-up, you'll see the word Al written just under the collar on the front of their uniforms.
He was so special. He and Jimmy V had that unique way of really communicating so well to their players.
4-point lead early for UConn. UConn hasn't lost on the road all year. Marquette has not lost at home. Judgment of the Week continues on ESPN. It's Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. This one will be fun. A couple of Big East bubble teams, perhaps, or has West Virginia already done enough? Bob Huggins going back to Cincinnati. And then Purdue and Michigan at 9 Eastern tomorrow night. The Boilermakers just a game back of Michigan State for the Big Ten lead. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
They're going to be paying a tribute to Bob Huggins in that game.
First time back in Cincinnati.
Is Acker playing that point, trying to get out of transition.
Jimmy Butler is fouled. So Marquette continues to get to the rim, and they continue to draw fouls on the UConn big man. This one will be Robinson.
Big Butler, he's a guy that's a role player. Going to watch him out of transition. He's going to put the ball to the deck, fill the lane. You know, you talk about the free throw line. I prepare for the game. I can't believe UConn is has shot 709 free throws, and their opponents have shot 303. Wow. That's over 400 more free throws.
But the way Marquette plays, that's a stat that may not hold up tonight, because Marquette does an outstanding job getting to the line. A.J. Price back in, Craig Austrie out for UConn. Both coaches may only use 7 players here tonight. No Dyson for Connecticut, and of course they lost some earlier players, academics and other reasons. Marquette lost some players at the beginning of the year, injuries, a transfer before the season. Neither one of these teams is deep.
Tell you one thing, they may not be deep, but Tom Crean left that cupboard filled with those 3 perimeter players.
Sure did.
And Tom did a fantastic job here with his energy and enthusiasm.
Yeah, led them to the Final Four back in 2003. The team Dwayne Wade was on. Walker takes a bump and banks it home. Kemba Walker averaging almost 9 points per game off the UConn bench.
You know, Walker and Austrie now become very important without Tyson. They become really essential that they got to be performers on a regular basis. Remember, their standards not just to compete with 25 games, they're to win a national title.
It will be Marquette ball. The Marquette backcourt, considered by many to be the best in America. They're all seniors. They've all started for 4 years. Dominique James, the scoring keeps going down, but the assists are up, the ratio is up, the steals are up. He has become a better point guard, and he knows he doesn't need to score that much because of McNeil, Matthews, and Lazar Hayward.
I know one thing, Buzz Williams going to do a lot of playing next year without those 3.
Yeah. McNeil has it knocked away, gets it back. Jarrell McNeil looking to get going here tonight. He's got 2 points thus far. Matthews on the step in. 16-footer, no. Rebound Price.
His dad was from out of Connecticut, went to Wisconsin. First game I ever did, Wisconsin and DePaul. His father was the star, Wes Matthews.
And the long 3 is there for A.J. Price.
A.J. feeling it, had a good start early, and sloppy in the backcourt.
Robinson the steal. And Jimmy Butler comes down with a rebound for the Golden Eagles. It's a quick 5-point run here for UConn to up their lead back to 7 as Maurice Acker walks it into the front court.
You know, Butler's guy is a role player. He's going to get on the glass. He's going to set screens.
Neal inside. Matthews can't find any room. Just too much size. And then a turnover. Acker won't take it. Butler inside draws the foul. UConn by 7. Coming up, we continue our countdown of the top 30 plays of the last 30 years. Again tomorrow night at 7 Eastern during West Virginia, Cincinnati for play number 12. We will reveal play number 1 of the last 30 years on March the 15th during the ACC Championship. Something tells me we might see Christian Laettner again at this time.
Well, I got a funny feeling. I'll tell you one thing about Christian Laettner. He had so many magical moments in that Duke uniform. You know, they've really extended the lead without Thabit. But I'll tell you one thing, I know Jim Calhoun would rather have Thabit on the floor than sitting next to him as an assistant. He's got a good assistance there with George Blaney and company.
Thabit's going to come back in. He's got 1 foul. Stanley Robinson's got 1. Jeff Adrian's got 1. So the starting front court each with 1 foul in the first 8.5 minutes for Connecticut. And Robinson getting a little bit of medical attention, it looks like, on the bench right now, sitting alongside Adrian.
I think the one loss that can back to haunt when you look at Marquette in terms of winning the Big East title, that loss which should have never happened to South Florida. Yeah. I mean, you can understand losing to Villanova like they did. They went back-to-back in those losses. But that South Florida loss really is so big. I mean, think about it. They'd be sitting there right now with 1 loss in conference play.
They'd be alone in first place. They started in the league 9-0, lost at South Florida, lost at Villanova. Since then, they've won 3 in a row. But Dick talked about their schedule after this one. They are at Louisville on the weekend. Then they're at Pittsburgh a week from tonight, and then they close the regular season at home against Syracuse. So the Golden Eagles schedule was really backloaded in terms of difficulty as Marquette goes zone.
They're in zone right now to 2-3, trying to match up out of it, force the turnover.
McNeil, Hayward. Acker in the corner, can't get the shot off. Plenty of time, no reason to rush.
Acker getting a lot of playing time.
Butler right to the rim, missed the shot. Edwards down with a rebound, but called for the travel. And keep an eye again on Thabit. There is nobody he can really cover in this group without stepping away from the basket. But now Burke will come back in. Acker goes out, so now Thabit's going to switch and go on Burke, who's the only and he's not an offensive-minded guy at all, but he's the only inside guy the Golden Eagles have.
You know, to me, certainly a little limited offensively, but defensively, such a factor. His shot changing ability, his ability to make people psychologically really be effective.
Win tonight for UConn, and Jim Calhoun picks up career win number 800. He would become just the 7th Division I men's coach to pick up that number. Matthews will launch the three and bury it.
Tell you one thing, there's no doubt, he was in a rhythm right there. As soon as he caught that ball, he was thinking three.
Back to a 2-point game.
They need those threes, Dan. They're not going to win this game without making some threes. And here come the Golden Eagles fans.
Price, nice look. Austri from the corner. In and out. Rebound Hayward.
I like Hayward. You talk about a guy that's a warrior, a guy that really gives you everything he has.
Doesn't get any publicity, doesn't complain a bit. But he's right there along with the 3 guards. Jarrell McNeil. Marquette takes the lead.
Raining threes, baby. Let the threes fly. Marquette shooting that trifecta. What about that game Novak had when they beat Connecticut with their first win? 41 points, 16
rebounds.
One of the real classics.
3 for 5 from beyond the arc tonight.
Look at Buzz Williams. Look at Buzz. Buzz saying, hey, that's a 3. Look at Buzz. He's working the coach.
Curtis Shaw say, I got it, coach. I got it. I can check the monitor.
I think Buzz wants some airtime. He knows the camera's looking at him.
Well, the McNeil one is clearly a 3, at least from that vantage what it appeared to be. If that's indeed what they're checking.
He was an assistant to Billy Gillespie down at Texas A&M.
A well-traveled man, Buzz Williams, 36 years of age. Great story, but he's 18, 19, just wants to get into coaching on any level. And he's sending out letters to every coach he can think of, trying to meet everybody. At one point had over 400 coaches on his list, just sending out weekly letters, saying hi, keeping in touch with people, networking himself, just the ultimate blue-collar, hard-working guy who has risen to a very high spot in the coaching ranks.
You know, 1 year in New Orleans, now here. Great story on him today by Marlon Garcia in USA Today.
Terrific story.
I learned a lot about him that I did not know, to be honest with you.
Another profile in the New York Times today. Buzz Williams is getting his publicity. And why not with a 23 and 14? A.J. Price, and he knocks down a 3 to quiet the crowd.
He's a big time performer. He's had so many injuries in his career. He's had some real monster moments.
Matthews, quick trigger, another one.
The M&M show. Matthews and McNeil. It's M&M time. I love M&M's. Give me some M&M's.
Now a steal by Hayward. And Austri with the foul. No basket.
All he had to do is flip that over his shoulder.
Another UConn foul and an injury update on the Marquette Golden Eagles. Here's Alan Hopkins.
That's right, a big injury, Dan and Dick. Dominic James, the all-everything team for Marquette, has a left foot injury and is out. He is out for the remainder of this game. He set the mark for most games played for Marquette by starting tonight, but he's out with a left foot injury and will get more status as the game wears on.
Wow, Alan, that's unbelievable. That's a major loss in a game like this. And with those 3 games they have in front of them, that would be a disaster for them.
They have very little depth. Hayward knocks down a 3.
I told you, my friends, they better make some threes. They're not going to get to the rack. They better hit threes. That'll change the complexion, and that'll make up for the loss of James.
There's a foul on McNeil. So the guy who's going to get a lot of minutes is number 2, Maurice Acker. He will play a lot at the point, and he's just going to keep looking to find people. This time it was Matthews finding Hayward.
Very slow recovering when you look at Connecticut defensively. Didn't do a great job in recovering out to the wing.
Robinson elevates. Too strong. Hayward another rebound. Here's Acker. Here's Matthews.
Jam City. Good TO right there by the Hall of Famer, Jim Calhoun.
They may be small, and they may not have much depth, but they are talented and tough. Marquette up by 6 on Connecticut.
So quick and so athletic, so explosive. Nothing like great perimeter players. And they are filling the lane. Transition offense and a poor job by Connecticut defensively. Connecticut out-hustled in that sequence. Did not get back defensively. Jim Calhoun cannot be happy with the effort right there.
You know, you sit and watch Marquette on tape. You've watched games. I watched like 3 of their games yesterday before flying here. There's not a selfish player on this team. Every time they have an opportunity to make the pass to get a better look, they make that pass. This is a truly selfless group that Buzz Williams and Tom Crean, by association, haven't had here in Milwaukee.
Well, that's how you define developing a winning team. Sharing the basketball, communicating. It doesn't take ability to make an extra pass. You got to be unselfish. You got to want to win.
As mentioned, Dominique James out for the night. That's him, number 1, reaching down and grabbing that left foot. Don't know if he suffered it there, just backpedaling, but as Alan Hopkins reported, a foot injury, and the senior point guard James is out for the night. Robinson, and he'll bury it. Hayward fell on the crossover move by Robinson, and Robinson knocked down the 3, his first of the season after missing his first 15.
Exactly, that was like Shock City that he made that 3.
There's a block by Thabit, averaging over 4 per game.
That's his great strength right there in that lane.
A.J. Price, boy, I don't know what Jim Calhoun said in the timeout, but it worked. And now they're going to check the 3 by Robinson, not the one that Price just hit. They're going to check the previous shot by Robinson, Buzz Williams, and it was right in front of him where it happened. He said that Robinson had a foot on the line.
Well, they're allowed to use the monitor now to determine that.
So once again, the officials will go to the monitor. This is the Robinson 3 from the far wing.
Now you talk about chasing an 800th win. You think about the scenario. You see right here.
Let's get another look. And tough to tell from that angle.
I got a funny feeling it looked like that foot was touching that line.
Well, it's a tough call.
It's got to be conclusive for them to make that decision.
To overturn the decision that was made live. That's right. Now, Buzz Williams, again, the shot happened about 5 feet away from him, and he was hollering. There's a close-up look, and
well, it's behind
like
right there.
Yeah, looks like a 3.
Oh, he's up in the air right there. That's a 3. That's a 3.
And the officials have ruled it a 3.
That's a 3. You know, we're talking about Jim Calhoun with those 800 wins. Right now, you got Bob Knight with 902. Dean Smith, 879. You got Rupp at 876. Jim Phelan at 830. Coach K at 825. And Eddie Sutton at 804. And then Jim Calhoun at 799.
Jim Boeheim not far behind at 791.
You know, it's really amazing. When he was offered the job by John Toner, who they're going to really honor on Saturday when they play Notre Dame. John Toner was the athletic director. He had doubts about taking that Connecticut job. He had told me. He had doubts because he didn't know whether or not they'd be able to do the things that obviously they ended up doing. But he thought that the one positive they had, great high school players in the state of Connecticut, and being in the Big East, the visibility would be great. So he decided to take the job.
Thabit, another block, his second of the night.
And the rest is history.
It sure is. 2 national championships and a contender again this year. Baseline laying there by Kemba Walker.
Tell you what a job that timeout was. Think about it. A little timeout like that to get in the face of a couple players, get them a little motivated. They were a little bit lackadaisical defensively.
Wow, that is a call that this crowd badly wanted, and that would have been a huge call. It would have been number 2 on Thabit.
You got to blow the whistle there. You got to blow the whistle there.
A.J. Price using the screen by Thabit. It's suddenly a 10-0 run for UConn, and the crowd has turned a little ugly here in Milwaukee.
You know, after that timeout, they rip off 10 straight points.
Matthews.
They're trying to go right at Thabit.
Offensive foul. Adrian takes the charge. So it's UConn by 4 on a run after a block by Thabit and then a non-call. And the Huskies lead. And back here in Milwaukee, Hasheem Thabit playing well, blocking shots. 1 foul in the early going. A 10-0 run for UConn. They've got a 4-point lead. Earlier today here in Milwaukee, you had a nice afternoon to the Marquette bookstore signing your book, which is right here. Your proceeds going to the B Foundation. 3 UConn Huskies in your top 50 players, including Ray Allen and a Dwayne Wade moment in your top 50 moments, and just a great crowd. A lot of people coming out today.
Yeah, we had really a super time. Bunch of Marquette people. We didn't have enough books, Dan. We didn't have enough books. It was unbelievable. We had a fantastic time with all the beautiful people. Most of all, I'm proud that we're going to raise some money for the V Foundation. Look, I can even write my name. Wow, I can write my name. I write like a doctor.
I can't read anything you write except for your name.
Hey, I'll tell you who's been a star here tonight. You know, we keep talking McNeil and Matthews, and we talking about James prior to his injury. Well, what about A.J. Price? He's only 6 for 7, 4 for 5, shooting a trifling. 16 points. He has been absolutely a flat-out PTP'er in the first half.
Remember, tore his ACL in the Huskies NCAA tournament game last year. Still recovering from the surgery at the beginning of this year. But week by week, Dick, getting more explosive, more confident, and becoming the point guard that everybody knows he can be.
Well, he had that great game against Villanova.
Yeah.
And that big win. Jay Wright's done a magnificent job with the Villanova Wildcats.
Yeah, Villanova lurking at 10-4 in the Big East. They've had a sensational season as Robinson comes down with a rebound in traffic.
The improvement of Dante Cunningham. Look at that penetration ability. Price so strong.
The beat steps over the fallen Burke and then slams it in.
There's no way you're going to defend that. There's no defense to stop that slam jam, Bam.
If you're just joining us, Dominique James, the starting point guard for Marquette, suffered a foot injury in the opening minutes, is out for the night. Extended minutes for Maurice Acker off the bench. Hayward misses the 3. Rebound Huskies.
And to me, really was a factor in him missing that 3.
Walker off to Robinson. Offensive foul. Number 2 on Robinson.
Out of control.
Judgment Week continues Saturday with a pair of games. First at noon Eastern. You talked about Villanova. They will host Georgetown. And then at 9 Eastern, it'll be Darren Collison and UCLA taking on Cal. The Golden Bears have had a nice season. 9-5 in the Pac-10. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
I'll tell you one thing. I look at the Big East right now. They're going to break a record this year. 8 is the most ever out of a conference. I don't think there's any doubt they're going to get at least 9.
Wow.
That win by Providence was so big over Pittsburgh for them.
Matthews, no. Hayward had it, saved into the hands of Robinson. But right now, Providence, a huge win for them. Notre Dame is trying to get into consideration. West Virginia's got a terrific RPI. Cincinnati is a bubble team. They've had a very nice season.
Yeah, those clubs hanging in there.
Yep. McNeil coast to coast, and Adrian was waiting for it. Marquette in a rut right now. McNeil in and out. Another rebound for Robinson, who's playing well. And playing tough tonight, too. He's going after the ball.
You know, Robinson and Price have really played exceptional. To me, he's got to learn to be a lot more active offensively. He stands too much. He really does. See, right now, there he's standing up on a high post. Now he's going to walk down into the post. Has not learned really yet how to get true post position. Not a lot.
Remember that timeout Marquette called? They haven't, or Connecticut called? Marquette has not scored since. It's a 12-0 run since then for the Huskies.
Oh, there's a nice play right there. Going to go strong.
No basket. Foul before the shot. Foul before the shot. Well, one of the big stories around UConn basketball, and I guess by association, college basketball the last few days, was the incident in the press conference after Connecticut's last game where Jim Calhoun was asked a question, the first question of the press conference, by a man named Ken Krajewski, who managed to get a photographer's pass, but is really a self-proclaimed political activist. And he asked Calhoun about how much money he makes and whether he thinks, given the economy and budget cuts and so forth, he should be giving some of that money back. Calhoun said, not one dime. And Calhoun got a little hot under the collar, and Krajewski forced the issue a little bit with a follow-up question until it was settled. And Jim Calhoun, then the governor of Connecticut, came out and said some things about Jim Calhoun, that it was an embarrassing display. Coach Calhoun told me today that he and the governor have spoken today, have ironed things out, understand each other's positions. How did you feel about what took place after that game?
Well, first of all, it was really not the timing for a guy to come in here and ambush him with a question like that 19 minutes after a game. Number 2, Jim Calhoun doesn't have to defend his salary. What he has done in terms of generating revenue in basketball for the state, and what pride he's brought to state, he and Gino Auriemma, I think they're both underpaid, to be honest with you.
As Calhoun said right then and there, the program generates more than $12 million a season, and that's not counting. And UConn officials will point this out, all the exposure. And what about all the money that he has donated to various causes, including
his wife.
Public causes, the the University of Connecticut Medical Center, the cardiac unit is the Pat and Jim Calhoun Cardiology Center.
And he's raised over $5 million for that. Jim Calhoun does not have to defend and really explain why he's making what he's making. If everyone produced and did their jobs like he and Gino have done, I mean, there'd be no problem. My heart goes out to those that lose their jobs. I mean, there's no question.
Jim Calhoun's 2 points are there's a time and a place, and that was neither the time nor the place, and come with the facts. And those are the 2 comments he made then and the 2 comments he stands by right now. Meanwhile, the run continues for Connecticut, 16-0, as they have upped their lead to 10 over Marquette.
You talk about a spurt of all spurts. I mean, this is as big time as it gets. I mean, Jim Calhoun calls a simple timeout, and since the timeout, they have been on an unbelievable run.
Looking at Jim Calhoun in an on-the-court sense, in a coaching sense, a win tonight, and he will join a very exclusive club. You go all the way back to the early 70s at Northeastern, his first win, 2 NCAA championships in '99 and 2004. And if he wins tonight, he will become the 7th men's Division I coach to win 800 games. And I asked him about it in shoot-around today. I said, how would it make you feel? And he said that his father told him to always judge people by the company they keep. He said, you look at the other 6 names on the list, I would be honored to be in their company.
Wow. You talk about a who's who of coaching. You know, but Jim, really, in taking that job, he studied and analyzed the whole scenario in terms of the state of Connecticut and determining that he thought there are a lot of great high school players in the state. And the Big East, that was the final decision which made him say yes, because he had a lot of other offers while he was at Northeastern.
Another Marquette turnover. They have now gone almost 5 minutes since scoring a point.
Seems like they missed James a little bit out here right now. The guy that's a solid leader in terms of distributing the rock, veteran player. So difficult when you lose a star player like that.
Khabib has been able to stay in the game and out of foul trouble. Picked up 1 early foul, has not picked up the second. Now a UConn turnover.
Do they need a big 3? Oh, do they need a big 3?
Matthews with the crossover. And it's out of bounds. Still Marquette's ball as we go to a timeout here in Milwaukee. Hasheem Thabeet, a force not only at the defensive end, some moments at the offensive end as well. UConn by 10.
This is Kevin Blackistone from Around the Horn, and you're watching ESPN America.
From Walt Disney Pictures.
I feel alive!
Comes the biggest.
It'll be huge, man. Huge.
Most anticipated.
Let it begin!
Comedy event of the season.
Bolt! Bolt!
Bolt!
Who? Bolt the super dog!
Walt Disney Pictures presents.
You're part of a TV show.
That's preposterous.
None of your powers are real!
You got your head stuck pretty good, huh, guy?
No powers.
You're crazy!
No problem.
There's a guard. I'll snap his neck.
Bolt.
Yoink!
This March, let ESPN America take you on a journey.
Oh, my goodness!
As 65 of college basketball's best teams travel on wings and prayers.
Got it!
In the hope of reaching the ultimate destination, the Final Four, and a shot at the national championship.
4-3 and the tie, you got it! Kansas, your national champions!
March Madness, coming soon, only on ESPN America.
John back here in Milwaukee, a 10-point lead for Connecticut. They use a little size like Chewbacca on the inside, maybe. Connecticut's getting it done in around the rim tonight against the Golden Eagles. Judgment of the Week continues on ESPN with Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. First at 7 Eastern. Bob Huggins returns to Cincinnati as the Mountaineers take on the Bearcats, and then Purdue, just a game back at Michigan State in the Big Ten standings, travels to Ann Arbor to take on the Wolverines, who could use a signature win as well. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Hayward, they needed that. That
Absolutely.
was a 16-0 run.
That's a monster. They needed that badly. Hey, you think about Connecticut, 7 years in a row, #1 in the nation. Block shots. This year's second to Mississippi State with Bernardo down there blocking shots. They're #1.
Marquette now 6 of 9 from beyond the arc. Great defense by Jimmy Butler.
Butler did a great job with the deflection right there.
There for McNeil. Rebound Matthews.
And pitch it back out.
Remember, no Dominic James out with a bad foot. Acker, who averages 11 minutes a game off the bench, getting a ton of minutes right now for Marquette.
Hayward's got a mismatch right here. Dump it in the wall. Dump it in the wall.
Kemba Walker call, Coach.
Well, that's just simple basketball IQ. Smart play by Marquette. 5 quick points, another turnover.
And then they give it right back.
Layup.
Matthews stumbled over his own fallen teammate, and it's a dunk for Gavin Edwards.
That's a 4-point turnaround.
Yeah.
You go up the other way, go back that way. That was a big, big play.
Under a big score in junior college a year ago. Goes right into Fabit. How about that?
Fabit just backed away.
Jimmy Butler basically all of the offense that Marquette ever gets off the bench.
They needed a little offensive spurt there to get a little back confidence. They looked like they were on the ropes big time.
Tough one by Walker. Good rebound by Edwards, but he can't finish. Hayward will beat the rebound.
Too quick right there on the inside. Some more patience, get a better shot.
Scotty Harrelson from the corner, a guy who doesn't play much, a terrific shooter but has never really found his niche this year. But with Dyson out, they need somebody else in the rotation. Jimmy Butler again.
There's Butler hustling, scrapping, clawing. The Golden Eagle fans go bananas. Can they get back in the game? Can they keep their unbeaten streak at home?
Last minute of the half.
16 in a row this year at home.
Connecticut unbeaten on the road at 12-0. Harrelson again. That's why they got him. A great shooter, but with Dyson and Walker and Price and Austrie, not a lot of minutes. Dyson out. Jim Calhoun has said to Harrelson, we need you right now.
Yeah, you can use that perimeter shot with them big people inside. The guy that's been quiet tonight has been Adrian.
Yes.
Real quiet.
And he normally is unbelievably consistent. Adrian not in the game right now.
He's been a double-double guy all year.
Has not scored tonight, Jeff Adrian. And he doesn't have a rebound. How about that? That's amazing. Yet Connecticut still has the lead.
The reason they got the lead is the play of A.J. Price.
McNeil swings it away.
He had the perfect angle for that block shot. The left-hand, right-handed player coming to him. Most of you great shot blockers block with the left hand. You think about Bill Russell, David Robinson.
Adrian back into the game along with Austrie. Burke will check in for Marquette. Fabit doing what he does best.
That's his
fourth
strength.
block.
There's no way statistically you can measure his value just in terms of looking at the stat sheet at the end of the night and looking at his point totals.
4 on the shot clock for the Golden Eagles. Yacker having to inbound it against a guy who's a foot taller than Adrian. The turnaround by McNeil. Now Connecticut, if they hurry, can get a decent look. That's a great job by Acker to slow down Austria.
You don't want to foul there. You don't want to foul. Good no call. Good no call.
And a good first half, a game of runs back and forth. Connecticut led by A.J. Price, leading by 6. Alan Hopkins with Marquette coach Buzz Williams.
Thanks, Dan. Coach Williams, Dominic James just played 4 minutes out with a left foot injury. How do you make up for his loss?
We're doing the best we can. We've got to stop him in transition. Scoring too many points in transition. Then when we do stop him in transition, we got to ensure that we don't give him offensive putbacks. We've given away too many possessions. When we're on offense, we got better there in the last 4-minute segment. Dominique's one of our best players. Everybody else has got to step up. We'll hang in there as best we can.
Last 4-minute segment, you wrestled away some momentum from UConn. What's going to be the key for you offensively in the second half?
Well, we've just got to make sure that we reverse the ball side, top side, and that we get paint touches. We can't play east and west. We're a north and south team. We got to continue to do that despite the presence of Fabit. When we did do that, we were in good shape. When we didn't get good shots.
All right, thanks, Coach Williams.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Back to you, Dan.
Well, we'll see, Alan, if Coach Williams holds on to that voice for the next 20 minutes. Connecticut by 6 at the break as we join John Saunders in the studio with the UPS halftime report. A Big East battle and a 6-point lead for the Huskies as we go to the second half. Along with Alan Hopkins, Dan Schulman, Dick Vitale. Connecticut by 6. Dominic James, the early injury, the Marquette point guard foot injury, done for the night. Big story.
Well, big story, and also A.J. Price, big story, stroking that 3. I mean, he had that great follow-through, did a terrific job, but certainly the loss of Dominic James was big. Injured his foot early in the game.
And this is where it initially appeared to happen on that play right there. And then backpedaling on defense a short while after that. He was limping a little bit, reaches down. He left the game, played less than 4 minutes in the first half, is done for the night. So, and now we've got an updated report just handed to me. And this is bad news for Marquette. Dominic James has suffered a fractured bone in his foot. The fracture of the fifth metatarsal in his left foot. He will be out indefinitely. Terrible news for a senior, for a guy playing for a team with a legitimate chance to make a deep run in the NCAA tournament, and now all eyes will be on his replacement. 5'8" junior Maurice Acker, a transfer from Ball State, almost basically a lifelong friend of Jarrell McNeil. Acker and McNeil played together in grade school, high school, AAU. Acker transferred here, and he's a good player, but he's not Dominic James.
Absolutely, and you think about the rotation, they're not a deep team to start with.
A Connecticut turnover. Yeah, Marquette sometimes will use only 7 players, with Butler and Acker being the only guys coming in off the bench. Acker's now a starter as McNeil draws the foul.
You know, when you lose a player like that, you might be able to survive short-term in the game, but you're not going to survive long-term. There is no doubt that his loss, because he's such a vital part of the big three on the perimeter, they're so limited on the interior, and you take away a lethal weapon on a perimeter like James, that's a major, major loss.
I don't know about you. My heart always breaks when it's a senior, when it's a guy who, I mean, unless there's some sort of miracle may be done. This is a broken bone in his foot. The Big East tournament is starting in a couple of weeks, and then the NCAA tournament right after that. Maybe he could be back at some point in the NCAA tournament. I'm sure we'll find out tomorrow after a follow-up examination. But again, a fracture of the fifth metatarsal, a fractured bone in the foot of Dominic James, out indefinitely.
You know, a kid that can play some important minutes, a guy I liked as a freshman was Kubian.
Yes.
David Kubian. We haven't seen much of him. Has not been able. He's had some shoulder injuries.
He may have to get back into the rotation. Has not been playing many minutes at all. Price short on the three, and Fabit picks up the rebound about 24 feet away from the basket.
Yeah, you can't let him get that rebound right there. You got to be able to attack the ball.
Price wide open again, and this time he makes him pay. A.J. Price's 5th three-pointer of the game.
He's having one of those monster games. He's really on fire, great rhythm. Had that career high when he had that brilliant performance against Villanova.
So had a great game against Gonzaga. An overtime win out in Seattle. The battle in Seattle in late December. And now a foul on the inside on Stanley Robinson.
You know, I remember watching Kubian as a freshman. I thought he was going to be a positive force. But it's been the A.J. Price show. I mean, this guy's been nothing but nylon. His dad played at Penn. They went to the Final Four. The year the kid from French Lick, Indiana, hooked it up with Magic Johnson. Penn was there. I drafted him.
A steal by Austrie. McNeil giving chase in Austrie with the layup.
Craig Austrie getting a lot of minutes now with the loss of Dyson.
Well, you look at how many top teams in America are either dealing with injuries or will have guys coming back from injuries. There are not very many teams who could. Blake Griffin in the concussion right now. Ginyard out all season for North Carolina. UConn without Dyson. Marquette without James. There are not very many top teams who are truly healthy right now.
Well, that's the key. As you come down the stretch, you want a healthy club. Louisville right now is getting healthy. They've had some injury issues. Williams now seems healthy. He's back doing numerous things that he can do on the floor.
Robinson misses. Adrian keeps it alive. And you know who's healthy and ranked 4th in the country? Memphis. Memphis is ranked 4th right now.
Oh, nice play right there.
From McNeil.
Nice little pass. Good transition game. John Calipari just reloads, motivates, recruits. He knows how to win.
Jarrell McNeil just mouthed it. It's go time. He is trying to whip his teammates up. He's trying to get the fans going. They're playing without one of their injured mates right now. Dominic James, and they're back within 5.
Well, it's important that the M&M guys, McNeil and Matthews, really got to elevate their game.
Austrie, no. Rebound Acker.
They got to find one of the M&M guys. They got to get the ball in their hands.
Here's one of them, Wesley Matthews. And the rebound to Adrian, who had a very quiet first half. Did not have a point or a rebound in the first half for a guy who averages a double-double. You talked about the M&M guys, and they made it happen 2 trips ago for Marquette.
There's the great look by McNeil. Bounce pass. Matthews with the score. A little layup, a little reaction. Let's go, let's go. If I had to pick my Super 7 right now, McNeil would be one of them. Looking across the nation at the 7 best players.
And if you go back 4 years, Dick, and look at James, McNeil, and Matthews coming in together. James was the highest profile recruit. Matthews was the player of the year in the state of Wisconsin. McNeil was a terrific player, but definitely not as highly recruited nationally as the other two. And here is, speaking of the devil, your solid gold team.
Yeah, not bad. Hey, you like those players? I mean, that's a pretty good club right there. You look at the club, you got size, you got quickness, you got scoring ability. You got people that can flat out play. Another guy that probably could be up there is Jody Meeks from out of Kentucky.
Price again. Great job by Matthews. Tips it to Acker. Acker's got speed. A handoff for McNeil. McNeil with a floater. Yes!
He's got that little mid-range shot. He's got the long-range shot. He's just an all-around versatile performer.
And he has forced Jim Calhoun to use a timeout here early in the second half. Marquette's not going away, even without Dominic James. Got it back within 3 here at the Bradley Center after the teardrop from McNeil. Headed back here in Milwaukee, Dan Schulman, Nick Vitale, Alan Hopkins. We'll look at some of the big games still to come in Judgment Week. We talked about West Virginia and Cincinnati, a couple of teams hoping to improve their postseason stock tomorrow night on ESPN. Memphis at UAB. Is Memphis going to go undefeated through conference play again? Ohio State at Purdue. The Buckeyes, a bubble team, but they've got some very nice quality wins. And then UCLA and Cal. The Bears have had a very nice season. A lot of surprises and a lot of bubble teams on this list coming up in Judgment Week.
Well, I'm so impressed with what Memphis has done. When you think about what they lost from last year, Chris Douglas-Roberts, Derrick Rose, John Calipari just goes out, gets Tyreek Evans. Right now, I think it's Evans or Willie Warren as the diaper dandy of the year. And John Calipari's got to be considered as National Coach of the Year. What he has done, considering earlier in the year to where they're now, they kept getting better and better. Hey, I got one for you. Some people told me, I was hearing Syracuse on a bubble. Are they crazy? Syracuse is locked. When you can beat the likes of Florida, they beat Kansas, they beat Memphis at Memphis, Syracuse, relax Jimmy Boeheim, VBDI. Vitale Baldomens says you are locked city in the tournament.
If there is a consensus, and there rarely is, it seems that 7 teams in the Big East are considered to be pretty much locks. As Harrelson knocks down his second 3. These are the minutes. These are the shots Jim Calhoun said he needed from Harrelson with Dyson gone for the year.
See, the scouting report of Harrelson, he shoots the rock, right? So, number 1, your defensive player's got to make him put the ball on the floor. You're going to get right up in his face. You can't allow him to have open looks.
McNeil, he leads the Big East in three-point percentage in conference play. And is he stepping up? He's got 9 points this half already to keep Marquette in it.
You know, Dan, the rap on him was that he was not a long-range shooter. Tell you one thing, that guy can shoot the jump shot.
A.J. Price on fire tonight from beyond the arc. Here's Hayward taking Adrian outside. Hayward with a step-back 3. Long rebound to UConn. 2 years ago, the Defensive Player of the Year in the Big East defending Price. Price with an ankle-breaking move and knocks down the mid-range J.
You know, he's been the stars all night. I mean, you can talk all you want about Matthews, McNeil. A.J. Price has stolen the show.
Yep.
On the road here, he said, hey, guys, we're undefeated also on the road. We don't care about your unblemished record here in Milwaukee.
He just took one of the best defenders in the country. There's a travel, wave off the basket, and we'll go to a timeout with UConn silencing the crowd again. And once again, it is A.J. Price stealing the show. Look at that discard, and he knocks it down. Here at Marquette, UConn leading the Golden Eagles by 8. Jim Calhoun, perhaps on the cusp of coaching history, a win away from 800 in his career. Only 6 Division I coaches have won 800. We asked A.J. Price this morning what it would mean to be a part of that kind of a milestone.
It'll mean a lot to this team to help Coach get that 800th win. You know, only a handful of coaches have been able to say they've done that. A Hall of Famer, he's very deserving of everything that comes with it. And we want to be a part of history. We want to be able to say we were out there that night when he got his 800th win, and we helped him get it.
Well, if they win it, helped him get it is an understatement for A.J. Price. How about 24 points and 6 assists?
He's been a star of stars right out of the gate. You know what's really interesting? Thabit has 1 field goal attempt. One field goal attempt. We're talking 7-3. He had that monster game against Seton Hall, 25, 20, and 10. One of the great stat lines you could ever see.
And the one was on a broken play. Remember, he caught the ball, stepped over the fallen Marquette defender, and then dunked it. That's the only field goal attempt.
Well, there's a reason for that. Number one, he's not aggressive offensively. Number two, he's limited in his basketball experience in terms of learning how to play. Now they finally go into him.
They'll kick it right back out. A.J. Price. Why not, huh?
Why not? You beat me to the punch. Why not? Just throw it out to A.J.
I'm kind of frightened that I'm starting to say things and think the way that you do, my friend. The lead is up to 11 for UConn. A.J. Price with 7 threes. Acker gets the hometown bounce.
Did he get the bounce? You're right about that, man.
Harrelson. He doesn't believe in holding on to it very long. He's made a couple of threes. Airballs that one. Crowd getting a little life into it again.
They need a little spark here. They need some momentum.
It's Wesley Matthews from the corner. And Thabit with a rebound.
See, it's a three-point shooting game. You can't get anything on the interior. That's where Thabit's value. I mean, they have to shoot nothing but basically threes now, Marquette, to try to get themselves back to this game.
They have not been able to get him in foul trouble. He's played 22 minutes and has picked up only one person. Adrian has it knocked away. Acker.
Got an opening.
Hayward. Going to the rim and he lays it in.
Nice play by Acker to find Hayward.
They're too experienced and too tough, even with Dominique James injured and out for the night, to just roll over.
They're going to lock it up on the defensive side, especially on Price. He's using those screens so effectively.
They switch on him. Matthews is on him now.
Good lob inside.
Begging for the ball.
Wow, I don't blame him.
Hayward 6'6", the beat 7'3". Price using the screen. And it goes over the backboard. It'll be Marquette ball.
Thabit was really frustrated right there, and I don't blame him at all.
Judgment Week continues on ESPN tomorrow night. Thursday Night Showcase presented by T. Rowe Price. It begins at 7 Eastern. Bob Huggins goes back to Cincinnati. The Bearcats on the bubble. Mountaineers and the Bearcats at 7 and at 9. Purdue and Michigan, the Wolverines, looking to boost their resume. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
You know, Michigan's got those wins over UCLA and Duke early, but I think they need a big win over Purdue.
Agreed. Matthews. Acker. Yes, his second three. Stepping up for Dominique James.
That's got to give him a little bounce, a little confidence. Dominic says, I like what I'm seeing out of my guy, George. And the crowd loves it as well. Nothing like what three's for to really change the complexion of the game.
Good defense. McNeil's got it. 2-on-1. McNeil. Offensive foul.
Not a good play by McNeil. Should have dropped a little bounce pass. Should have dropped a little bounce pass. Bus says, wait a minute, we're home. We're home, Mr. Donato. You got to give us that call. He said, Mr. Donato, you got to give us that call. There's a three. Acker. Now you're going to take a look right here. Is it a charge? Oh, that's close. That's close. I see you nodding your head. Yes, no. Is it? Not sure.
I'm glad I'm over here.
Yeah, we don't get paid for blowing that whistle.
Number 3 on McNeil.
Should have given it up top. He should have just given a little bounce pass and a layup.
Anybody except Acker, I bet you would have, but Acker's so small, the defender was right there. Acker's been large off the bench, though, filling in for James, hitting a couple of threes here in the second half. And there's Gavin Edwards, I believe, with a moving screen. And Jim Calhoun says, what? And maybe we're all even now, huh?
Yeah, a little makeup time.
Do coaches believe in makeup calls?
Look at Jimmy. Jimmy can't believe it. He says, come on, let me get my 800.
Marquette with the ball, down by 3 in a spirited building here tonight at the Bradley Center.
Trying to get Hayward some shots.
McNeil again.
He's a slasher. He's a driver. I think Hayward's going to have to make some shots for them as well.
Look at James on crutches, head cheerleader now in that Marquette huddle.
16-0 on this floor right now. Connecticut has not lost on the road. Jim Calhoun's kids have met every challenge. Remember when they ended that winning streak of Notre Dame down there in South Bend, Indiana?
And we have a technical foul as you get another look at That last play, a technical foul has been called on somebody on the Connecticut side. I don't know if it was on Jim Calhoun or one of the players, but just a few seconds ago, a technical called on Connecticut.
I missed it. Totally missed it.
It evidently was on Jim Calhoun. Wesley Matthews to the line.
It's probably his outburst that he had on that sideline when he was upset with that call. And if that was the reason, you don't hit a guy with a tee there. If that was the reason. I mean, sometimes let a coach vent a little bit of his frustration.
It's now a 12-3 run for Marquette. The Golden Eagles have taken the lead.
He's no Golden Eagle fans. I went to church today, Ash Wednesday, and a girl says to me in church, she says, "Are we going to win tonight?" I said, like, I really know during Mass.
Well, they're saying not in their house here tonight. They don't want Jim Calhoun picking up number 800 right here.
They're going to lock up on Price if they don't want it to happen. Acker's got that challenge, got to get over the top of screens. He's got to get to beat some touches, though. He's got to get some touches. Throw the ball up loud.
There it is. And
Thank you.
lay it in effortlessly. He is 9 inches taller than Lazar Hayward, the man who has been covering him.
Maybe you hurt me, huh? You think?
I think half the building heard you. And there's Kemba Walker called for the foul.
I can't believe he doesn't get more attempts. He's too talented around that basket, too.
What a game we got going on here tonight. John, thank you. You saw Henderson at 35 on the weekend. Shire had 30. Mike Krzyzewski, the active leader in wins at 825. If Jim Calhoun wins here tonight, it'll be 800. Jim Boeheim not far behind. Duke and Maryland right after us tonight here on ESPN.
Well, you know, the beauty of a game like that to Maryland, I mean, you look at Jim Calhoun. Earlier this year, nobody would have thought they'd been in a hunt for an NCAA berth. But that win over North Carolina, now they get a chance to play a quality team like Duke. You never know. That's why you got to play the whole resume out. If you get an opportunity to play quality teams like you do in the Big East, where Notre Dame can get back in the hunt after losing 7 in a row by beating a Providence and a Louisville, a Maryland by beating a North Carolina. That's going to be a good matchup tonight between Maryland and between Duke.
Here's McNeil. There's Dominic James out with a broken bone in his foot, checking the stats. Maurice Akers filled in for him, hit a couple of threes. McNeil has had a huge second half, and McNeil this year, Dick, became Marquette's all-time leading scorer past George Thompson a few weeks back.
Yeah, I spoke to George at halftime. One of the first great players ever to play here for Al McGuire. And he was joined by Dean the Dream Memminger from out of New York. Al McGuire, he had that New York lock with Butch Lee.
Price with a floater. Robinson with a follow.
Robinson really having one of his quality games. Has struggled for most of the year. Missed the first 8 games.
Pretty good numbers, 11 points, 6 rebounds for the 6'9" forward. McNeil using the screen, knocks down another one.
There's no doubt he can shoot the ball. He can play at the next level. The big rap, they said, didn't have range as a shooter.
And A.J. Price.
Right back in the face of McNeil. A little one-on-one maneuver.
29 for Price.
He said, anything you can do, my friend, I can do better.
McNeil forces Thabit to step out, goes around him. Tough shot, fading away, left it short, rebound Thabit.
Yeah, that was a forced shot right there. Got a little more patient on the offensive side. So if I'm Connecticut, I'm pounding in a little bit. Look at the size advantage of Thabit. Yeah. I mean, look at that size advantage.
Jimmy Butler on him now. Butler's 6'6", Thabit 7'3". There's the top.
The ball inside.
And he lays it up and in. Why didn't they go to him at all until the last 2 or 3 minutes?
It's amazing. I think a lot of it's him. He doesn't really get all active to want the ball.
How about Butler? What happened there? A breakdown by the Huskies.
As Butler, that role player, a glue guy, a screener, a rebounder. This is what we expected. He's going to be up right down to the wire.
Past the midway point of the second half, tied at 67. In an absolutely terrific game here at the sold-out Bradley Center. The biggest crowd they've ever had for a Marquette game here, 19,091.
Well, you expect it to be this kind of game. When you think about what's at stake, you think about the fact that one club has not lost on the road. The other one's got 17 in a row at home.
Adrian setting the screen. Kemba Walker spins into traffic. Wild shot. Robinson the rebound. Robinson Robinson again.
I tell you, he's playing possessed. He's playing possessed. Reed very active.
Connecticut foul as Matthews was thrown to the court.
I think Jim would like to see them go to beat a little bit more often. I don't think they take advantage of his ability and his size. That's what we call a team player. Kid's got a broken foot, happened in this game, and he's there cheering. That's what we talk about unselfish desire, wanting to win, a sense of pride.
Second foul, Dick, on Adrian. More importantly, 7th on the team. Free throws the rest of the way for Marquette. The Golden Eagles, meanwhile, have only committed 3 fouls here in the half.
You know, they lose Dominic James, they lose Matthews, they lose McNeil. They got some great recruits coming in. Kid Jerron Naiman, one of the real terrific high school scorers, played at the same high school in Madison as Matthews and broke all his records. And a kid, remember this name? Dwight Bikes, coming out of junior college.
Give me and John Saunders a little up. Give me the name of the Toronto kid. Junior Cadogan. They think he's going to be a great point guard in this program.
Yeah, from out of Canada.
Beat with the offensive rebound and lays it in and draws the foul.
Why not go to him more? I spoke to John Saunders yesterday. Congratulations on his new contract. John, really one of our valuable guys here at ESPN. Now look at the offensive rebound. There he is. Thabit says, you're not going to throw it into me. I'm just going to get it off the glass and convert and lay it in.
Foul on Hayward.
John and Lavin hook it up. I know one thing. John is the space eater on the inside, and Lavin's going to distribute the rock.
3-point play the old-fashioned way for Hasheem Thabit. UConn by 2.
He's too good and too talented. Don't you agree that he should get more touches?
Yeah. As you say, it's a combination. They're going to look for more, and he's got to demand it more and be more active down there.
I like that word, demand. I'm going to demand the mic a little more from you.
Oh, yeah. Matthews. Yes.
Matthews and McNeil, so talented. Should have been a walking violation. Should have been a walking violation. He took an extra step. The NBA, they would allow him to get away with it. It's an NBA arena, so maybe he got away with it.
Adrian, still scoreless tonight.
That's unbelievable. He's been a double-double guy all year, Adrian.
And only 3 rebounds as well for Jeff Adrian tonight.
Was a tight end at one time. And I think he walks. So watch this right here. And watch this as he goes to the goal. See, I didn't notice the difference. He traveled. Come on.
He took 3.
Not bad with one eye. Maybe I should be a zebra and blow the whistle.
Hayward out. Burke back in for Marquette. Robinson, nice feed into Edwards. Blocked from behind, but Burke called for the foul.
Burke can't believe it. He said, no. I blocked that baby. Buzz cheering on that sideline. He's come a long way in coaching. Oh, that was a good block. That was a legitimate block.
That's a good block.
That was a legitimate block. You don't want to penalize the kid on that. Oh, there was no contact at all.
Number 3 on Burke. Edwards at the line.
Little plays like that can change the complexion of a game. And that's all ball. That's all ball, Danny, yes. That's all ball, Danny, yes.
And it cost him a point. 1-point game. Buzz Williams hollering out a play as Acker responds.
So I think you want to shorten the game a little bit. I think you want to be a little patient.
Matthews from the baseline. Soft touch.
I'll tell you, you got to think about Matthews and McNeil on almost every possession.
20 now for Matthews.
He expected that, though. They've responded. They've responded.
The beat being fronted by Burke, who's a little bit bigger than Butler or Hayward. But still about 7 inches shorter.
Exactly. Yeah. Should be no size. Go to the lob. He wanted the lob right there.
Robinson, shot fake, jam. What a night for Stanley Robinson.
Well, what he's doing well. He's utilizing that athletic ability and an explosive first step. He was 0 for 15 shooting threes until he made one today. That is not his forte. He should not be shooting the 3.
He has gotten to the rim. Often here tonight. UConn back up by 1. McNeil. Marquette by 1.
Let's go. One time McNeil, one time Matthews on the wings.
McNeil now trying to slow down Price, who's tied a career high with 29. Robinson puts it on the floor again. Off balance, slipping. Here come the Golden Eagles.
Driving down patience right here.
Matthews.
Too quick. Absolutely too quick.
And the foul will go against Marquette as we get to a timeout under 7 to go. Marquette and UConn battling tonight, battling for Big East supremacy. UConn getting a big night from Robinson, hoping that's enough to hand Marquette its first home loss of the season. All right, John, thank you. Before we go to the ACC, this game of the Big East, Connecticut and Marquette. Marquette leading by 1. A look at the top 8 in the Big East. If Marquette wins tonight, they move ahead of Connecticut and into a tie with Louisville for top spot in the Big East standings. And guess where Marquette's next game is? At Louisville.
At Louisville. I mean, look at the standings right now, and you look at the upcoming games. Connecticut's got Notre Dame, and then they're at Pittsburgh after this game. Louisville's at home with Marquette, at home with Seton Hall, and at West Virginia on a game day. So I really like Louisville's chances. I like the way they're playing. I like the fact that Rick Pitino's teams get better in March. They get better and better and better. They're healthy now. I give the edge to Louisville, but you know what? You can't have a true champion of the league until you play everybody the equal number of times.
Connecticut has won 10 Big East regular season titles under Jim Calhoun. 6 Big East tournament titles. I agree with you.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, we were talking about it. Now, there's some leagues like the SEC and the Big 12 where you play the same teams twice every year and the same teams once. It's a north-south or east-west. The Pac-10 is the only league of the Big 6 that has a true round-robin, 10 teams, and you play everybody twice.
That's when you get a genuine, legitimate league champ.
The ACC used to be like that before it exploded. Getting inside, Kemba Walker, UConn back on top.
I tell you, Walker's got good ability. I think he's going to be a star in a Connecticut uniform. Comes out of New York City. Nobody rotates over. Look at his baseline. I mean, you got to step over. I mean, right there, Burke should have been stepping in, giving help, and closing off that driving angle.
Walker, a terrific backup, pointed off and playing alongside A.J. Price as well. Price just went out with his 29 points. Craig Austrie back in for the Huskies. 3-point play for Walker, 2-point lead UConn.
You know, Walker gets a 3-point play. There is no way in the world, and I'm sure when they look at the video, they will go over that. Burke should have rotated over to the baseline and closed off that driving angle.
Again, if you've been with us in and out or only recently, Dominique James, the starting point guard for Marquette, broke a bone in his left foot early in the game, is on crutches, has a boot on his foot, and is out indefinitely as Marquette tries to win without one of their big 3 guards. And all Marquette can do is stand at the sidelines now and help along his teammates, cheer for them, but out indefinitely.
Your heart's got to go out to the kid. He's had such a brilliant career here at Marquette. Really getting ready for the stretch drive, March Madness, and it looks now like he would be lost for the entire year.
Number 4 on Dwight Burke. Marquette over the limit. Fabit to the line for UConn. James, a senior. Terrific assist-to-turnover ratio this year for Marquette. And again, James, McNeil, Matthews, they've been playing together for 4 years. They know each other inside and out. And now Maurice Acker goes from being a guy who came off the bench 10, 12 minutes a game to a guy who is likely going to start and has played virtually every minute since James went out with the injury tonight.
Well, you know, Maurice has got to be the guy right now giving him positive minutes. He made some big threes. Maurice certainly now becomes a key guy in their rotation.
McNeil slithers inside, and Fabit rips down the rebound. Well, a terrific move by McNeil. Don't know how he even saw the rim, but he missed the shot, and now UConn with the ball in a 4-point lead and a big night for Fabit.
It's amazing how Connecticut takes everybody's best shot, and yet they really so successful. 10 of the last 11 years and won 20 or more games. Jim Calhoun's numbers are unbelievable in his 23 years at Connecticut. 2 national titles.
Walker out of control. Robinson gets it back, and it goes, and he's fouled.
That's a big play. That is a major play right there by Robinson. Converting that and scoring on that situation after a bad shot by Walker. There it is, comes up with the loose ball. Not only that, goes to the foul line.
For more on Robinson, maybe having the best game he's had this season, let's go to Alan Hopkins.
I think that is safe to say, Dan. Stanley Robinson 3 times over his scoring average of 5 points. You mentioned earlier he took a leave of absence. He didn't just go home back to Birmingham, Alabama. He went and worked for a sheet metal factory being run by a UConn alum. Showed up early and often to work. And when he came back, the UConn staff was amazed how it really did turn his life around and really turned his play around on and off the court.
He's really an X factor for them. He can have great nights and he can have mediocre nights. And tonight has been a great night, and they have needed it because Jeff Adrian, who's normally so solid and steady for UConn, has not had his typical night at all.
Well, the reason he's had a good night is because he's really doing what he does well, using his athletic ability.
Judgment Week continues Saturday with a pair of games. First at noon Eastern, another Big East game. It's Georgetown taking on a very talented Villanova team. Again, just quietly lurking at 10-4 in the Big East right now. And then at 9 Eastern, a Pac-10 battle between UCLA and Cal from Haas Pavilion. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Some struggling Big East teams, Notre Dame, if they have any hope of making the tournament, they cannot slip up and lose that game against Rutgers tonight.
Oh, no, they can't lose that game, no doubt. You're looking right there. You know, Syracuse 4-7, but they're in great shape. They've had some marquee wins, beating Memphis on the road, beating Kansas up there in Kansas, even though it wasn't in Rock Chalk Jayhawk land, it still was in Kansas City. And then they got the big win over Florida as well.
UConn has stretched it out to a 7-point lead after the two teams traded the lead back and forth for so many minutes.
This might be the biggest possession of the night so far.
Butler, no. Edwards the rebound.
That was a big, big possession. You're down 7, you lost momentum, and now here it is, you come up empty.
5 to go. Kessel walking up the court, got the heel on as always. Now a switch, it'll be Matthews.
Playing with such confidence, he's got that swagger with the rock in his hand, AJ.
Defended by Hayward again. They've used more than 20 seconds this possession. Now it'll be Price to set it up.
Look at the mismatch inside. Size-wise with to be.
Good D by McNeil. Robinson the rebound. Another basket. Another foul.
So quick to the ball. He's very quick to the ball today. And that is the difference. He's attacking the basketball. As you said, Adrian has really not been Jeff Adrian, but Robinson has made up for it. I think Jim Calhoun is going to get that big cake with 800 on it. His wife Pat and them will be celebrating back in Connecticut.
Robinson continues not only to pile up the points, but Jim Calhoun will be even happier with the rebound, showing he's more physical, he's more involved, he's more assertive.
He's aggressive. Yeah. And also, you know, when you think about Jim Calhoun, the battle he's had with 3 bouts of cancer, showing that incredible courageousness. He and his wife Pat, a great family. They reach out, they help people.
It's an 11-0 run, and just like that, UConn's gone from 1 down to 10 up.
They've had 2 runs in this game. It's been the difference.
Yeah.
The 16 and zip run and the 11 and zip run.
Hayward wide open for 3. Yes, another desperately needed shot by Marquette to keep them within striking distance.
They got to get some open looks for Hayward. Nobody's rotating out on him. He's got the size and ability to shoot the three. They're going to lock up defensively in Connecticut right now. He's got to manage the clock and get good shots with each possession.
Under 4.
I can't get over. I would be going bananas that he'll get more lobs inside.
Austria inside, no. Still loose. Marquette ball. And Butler is fouled by Robinson.
Silly play right there by Robinson.
Down by 7, Marquette to the line when we come back to the Bradley Center after this. All right, Mike Patrick, looking forward to that one. Duke looking for a tough road win. Connecticut, Dick, away from home this year, 12-0. How impressive is that?
Well, very impressive. They've been that kind of team that they can respond. They lost their 2 games at home, got beat early in the year by Georgetown, and then had that loss to Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh was brilliant, 22 and 23 out of Blair. In fact, that was the only time all year that Connecticut has been out-rebounded in that game to be got in foul trouble. You know, you look at Pittsburgh, a couple of their losses, Blair got in foul trouble. You lose those big guys on the interior, it changes the complexion of your team.
And some games still to come in the Big East. Marquette is at Louisville. Marquette is at Pittsburgh. Connecticut is at Pittsburgh, all in the next couple of weeks.
Hey, I just went to the VBDI and it tuned into me. Here's the, I'm going to give you the entries in the tournament from the Big East. Connecticut, Louisville, Pittsburgh, Marquette, Villanova, West Virginia, Providence, Syracuse, and hanging on the bubble, it'll be the Cincinnati or Notre Dame. One of those 2.
One of those is going?
Yes, sir.
Right.
They're going to get 9. 8 are in. 8 are in. 8 are Rock City.
Connecticut hasn't lost on the road. Marquette has not lost at home all season long.
Something's got to give, baby. Look at him letting the lob. Look at him letting the lob inside.
Being fronted by Hayward. Now the screen by Thabit. Walker launches a three. McNeil skies for the rebound.
See, I like 7 threes to lay screens and then release and go to the basket.
Hayward on the drive. It's better of it. Now Acton.
Got to get a good shot in this possession. You're down 5, 3 on the clock. You got to make sure the right people are shooting the ball. And you know who they are.
McNeil and Matthews each with 20-plus tonight. Here's Hayward. And it's an offensive foul.
Totally out of control. He was out of control on that drive to the goal.
Number 4 on Hayward.
See right here, he's out of control. Defense is just placed there, stationary.
So Hayward's got 4 for Marquette. Robinson has 4 for Connecticut. And Robinson not in the game at the moment, but Hayward so important to Marquette at all times, and even more so without James. They're just that much.
Half-court trap.
Yeah.
Half-court trap forced a little turnover. Robinson has been so effective now out of the game. He's been quick to the offensive boards, and A.J. Price has been a superstar tonight.
And now Jim Calhoun is going to send Robinson back into the game. A timeout with 2:44 to go. You were talking about the Big East, some of the top teams, and the schedules that still remain. Marquette's schedule tonight against UConn, at Louisville, at Pittsburgh, Syracuse. They've got the toughest road the rest of the way. Louisville has 2 home games, and they go to West Virginia. We'll have that game a week from Saturday. That won't be easy. The Mountaineers are good. Connecticut's still got to go to Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh still got to host Marquette and UConn.
I'll tell you one thing, Louisville, very good team on the road as well. Yeah. They respond and really have played exceptional basketball away from home. I did a book signing there yesterday in Louisville and spoke at a big banquet there. And I read a quote. Rick Pitino said, 12-6. If I would have thought 12-6 in this conference, I'd have been astounded. If you believe that, I know Rick Pitino. There is no way in the world that he would ever accept 12-6. He's a Hall of Famer, and man, they're sitting at 13-2.
Robinson has returned for UConn. Marquette with the ball down by 5. McNeil from 15 feet away. It's a 3-point game.
I love that kid. He's a big-time player. I love his competitiveness, his drive, and his desire. What will give? Will the Connecticut situation where they lose their first on a roll, or will Marquette continue unbeaten at home? And will Connecticut be in position to be number 1 in America?
UConn taking the air out of the ball again in the half court, down to 15. Price on the penetration, high off the glass, no, and Adrian got held. Adrian was held. It's going to be McNeil, I believe. And that'll be number 4 on Jarrell McNeil.
Good call by Curtis Shaw. He caught him right there, grabbing onto Adrian, who's the first time I've seen him all year play in this situation. He's been subpar the entire night.
To the line, Adrian. There are now 4 Marquette players with 4 fouls. Burke, McNeil, Hayward, and Butler.
I really believe usually the home team has the advantage if you go to overtime. If this goes to overtime, advantage Connecticut.
And there's the foul trouble. Dominic James out with a broken bone in his foot. Suffered early in the game tonight. 4 Golden Eagles, each with 4 fouls. Robinson is the only Husky with 4.
So many times free throw shooting is the difference in winning and losing late in the game.
And it's a 5-point game as Adrian knocks them both down.
That just puts pressure on Marquette to make sure they come up with a score on every possession.
The beat swats away the attempt by McNeil. It'll be Marquette ball. Price trying to call a timeout, but you can't do that once you're falling out of bounds. A rule they changed a couple of years ago.
Yes, sir. Change that rule.
There's the beat again with the left hand, as you talked about before.
Well, the left hand eliminates him making body contact to force the foul.
Burke is back into the game and out for Marquette. Now Jim Calhoun's got a complaint for Curtis Shaw. I think the question has to do with the shot clock, but I guess they're ruling that Connecticut have possession, and so it's a fresh 35. And Marquette's unlikely to use a whole lot of that. Down by 5 under 2 to go. Here goes Matthews getting inside. No, and the rebound by Price.
That was a tough shot. If that made it a 4, that was a tough situation. They're going to just manage the clock now. Force him to go to the foul line. I'm going to spread the court.
Jim Calhoun, potentially less than 2 minutes away from his 800th win. Only 6 Division I men's coaches have reached that mark. Only one active coach, that's Mike Krzyzewski.
He'll be part of a Super 7. You talk about 7 Goliaths in a game of basketball. Taking some time off.
Price. The dagger and the capper on a monster night for A.J. Price. He's got a career-high 32.
He really responded right out of the gate. I think he heard so much about McNeil and Matthews. He wanted to say, we got some perimeter players as well.
McNeil, a wide-open 3. Back rim. Acker with the rebound. The kick to Matthews for 3. And the three's not falling lately for Marquette. Under a minute to go. And Jim Calhoun on the verge of coaching history here tonight at the Bradley Center.
It's really sad. You don't want to end your season if you're Marquette, where you got a scenario that you got to play. For example, right now, Louisville and then Pittsburgh could lose 3 in a row.
No question. Tomorrow night brings another edition of Bob Night with Brent Musburger. This week it's a reunion as Bob Huggins goes back to Cincinnati. You can log on to ESPN.com, keyword Ask Bob Night, and submit a question for Coach Knight to answer on the air.
I got some questions for him. Can I ask him a question?
Sure.
Oh, wow. What do I do? How do I do it? I don't know nothing about computers. I don't know about the internet.
I've seen you on a computer. It's not pretty. You might have his number in your cell phone.
Yeah, we'll call him up after, ask him a question.
Brent Musburger, Bob Knight. Tomorrow night in Cincinnati, a huge game for the Bearcats as A.J. Price continues to add to his career-high tally here tonight in Milwaukee.
That's what they expected out of him when he came out of high school. He came in so heralded, had that illness, then he had an injury. We talk about the career list of the most wins. Number 1 is our own General Robert Montgomery Knight with 902. The guy that's getting up there, Mr. Krzyzewski, with 825. Something tells me that guy's going to hit the 1,000 mark.
That number 5's going to number 1?
I think eventually
going to 1,000.
Hit 1,000. Wow. Yes, sir.
Well, Jim Calhoun on the cusp of win number 800, in large part tonight due to the play of A.J. Price, Dick.
Yeah, A.J. Price has been sensational the entire night. Hitting that jumper, driving to the goal, very effective. I also know a guy by the name of Mr. Knight would get to the 1,000 mark if somebody gives him that golden opportunity, which they would reap the benefits as you're watching Price right there. What a show he put on. What an absolute show off.
34 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Look at those numbers tonight for A.J. Price.
In a place where he had to come up big.
Duke and Maryland, minutes away on ESPN.
Well, I'm going to run and get the TV. I'm going to watch Mike and Jay. I'm going to watch that game. Duke and Maryland, wow.
McNeil, and a foul on Fabit.
He can't believe it. He said, me? I don't foul. I block shots. He has blocked 32 more shots than the entire Marquette team. Think about that. 32 shots more than the entire team. Doesn't really totally amaze me when you look at the makeup of Marquette because they don't have a shot blocker. They lost a lot of size from his team from last year.
Yeah. The departure of Usman Barrow, Trevor Mbakwe transferring just hours before classes began down at Miami-Dade College. Some injuries to some bench players who would have filled in roles in the front court. So a very small but tough and talented Marquette team has fought hard tonight. But just a little bit too much A.J. Price for UConn.
Would you agree that the Fighting Irish, who had lost 7 in a row, that came back, bullet, beat Louisville, beat Providence, really has to get a win at Connecticut?
I think so.
I really do. I think that game is a must game.
I think so.
They'll be honoring John Toner, former athletic director, man that hired Jim Calhoun, gave him that opportunity. Jim's such a fierce competitor on the sideline.
Just think about what the Big East tournament is going to be like in New York in a couple of weeks.
Wow.
How intense and hotly contested that's going to be. You're going to have bubble teams, and you're going to have teams with Final Four aspirations, multiple Final Four potential teams fighting for the Big East tournament crown. And unfortunately, again, the only word we have on Dominic James is out indefinitely with a broken bone, a fractured 5th metatarsal in his left foot. But you can see how it's wearing on him. His collegiate career could be over.
I think also the ACC and the Big Ten are going to have dynamite tournaments as well.
Yep.
You guys got a lot hanging right there in those conferences. And the ACC certainly has some heavyweights that are Final Four contenders.
Foul by Maurice Acker. Price will go back to the line. Just 21 seconds left. It'll be win number 800 for Jim Calhoun, and Connecticut will move a half game ahead of Louisville in the Big East standings up to 14-2. Marquette will drop down to 4th at 12-3.
Hey, you talked to Buzz a little bit earlier today. Did he mention anything to you why Kubiak doesn't play at all? Because we saw him as a freshman, came out of St. Benedict's, played for Danny Hurley, who, by the way, is the son of Bob Hurley, who I wrote a column on my internet, if you go to DickVitaleOnline.com, how he belongs to the Hall of Fame for his contributions to basketball at St. Anthony's have been incredible. But did he mention at all why Kubiak doesn't play?
Well, the biggest reason he said is just that McNeil has played so incredibly well this year. He doesn't want to take him out of the game, so he's just kind of stuck.
Well, I thought today to get some minutes, though, especially James going to the sideline.
Well, we'll see how it develops with James out indefinitely. Congratulations in order to Jim Calhoun, becoming the 7th men's Division I coach to record 800 wins.
Congratulations, James Calhoun, and congratulations to Pat, his beautiful bride as well, and his family, because they've all been part of it. You need a support staff for that to happen.
Connecticut goes to 26-2 on the season, 13-0 in games away from home, and A.J. Price with a career night leading them to the victory as UConn runs away late from Marquette. Jim Calhoun offering condolences to the injured Dominique James in hopes for a speedy recovery. These two teams could be headed for another showdown a couple of weeks from now with the Big East Championship in New York City. Jim Calhoun, win number 800. A.J. Price leading the way, Connecticut 93 and Marquette 82. Let's go to Alan Hopkins.
Thanks, Dan. Coach, how big was A.J. Price tonight?
Like the best player in the Big East on this given evening. You know, the inside-outside of a shame to beat, got in the basket, getting rebounds for us. Stanley Robinson having a wonderful game. And A.J. Price put on a Ray Allen, Ben Gordon type performance. Pretty darn special stuff.
And how good was Robinson tonight? He's big. He's career high in points. A bit of an enigma, but he came through for you tonight. How so?
He's a kid who keeps on coming. He's a wonderful person. And if he can play 60-70% of that, we can maybe overcome that loss to Jerome Dice. It's going to be hard, but it's a great win for us here at Marquette, and they're a heck of a basketball team.
Coach, for you personally, I know you're not prone for hyperbole, but 800th win, what does it mean to you?
Well, you're known by the company you keep, and I saw it in the notes, and I kind of like that company of great coaches. But more importantly, we'll get ready for Notre Dame on Saturday. And this is a great win, and tribute to Marquette. They can really play.
Congratulations on 800. We'll see you down the road. Thanks, Coach. Back to you, Dan.
All right, Al, thank you very much. Connecticut by 11. Jim Calhoun, win number 800. Congratulations to Jim Calhoun. Coverage of this game will continue momentarily with a post-game extra over on ESPN News. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. Big nights for A.J. Price, Robinson, and Fabita's UConn win.